Anchor is the easiest way to make a podcast. Anchor gives you everything you need in one place for free, which you can use right from your phone or computer. Creation tools allows you to record and edit your broadcast so it sounds great. And they even distribute your broadcast for you so that it can be heard everywhere. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Google Podcasts. So make sure you download the Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the very first Future Educators Talk Math Virtual Learning Session. Of course, I am your host, Damian Anderson.
And I am your host as well, Andrew Frett. This is the first time this has been a project in the works for the last couple of months, and we really want to help those students during this difficult time right now, this COVID-19 right now. So as many of you have not known that I will be doing 6th grade math, and Damian is going to do 8th grade math. Each session is going to be 30 minutes long. Also, we will have office hours as well for 30 minutes as well, in case you have any questions, concerns, or comments as well. It's going to be a wild ride for the next couple.
Yes, it is. We got planned for the next 17 weeks, but we could go on after that. So you guys, we got lessons planned up each week. So we're on the ball game for this. And we are so excited to be helping your students out who are struggling with math, because we know that math, it can be tough. It can be hard. Once moving on up to the grade levels, it gets quite harder. And then when you enter college, that's another ballgame right there. But we're going to help your students out as the best as we can. Now, we're currently not in high school anymore. We're not, or in middle school. But we know we've been through it. We've been through 6th grade math. We've been through 8th grade math. And we know the stuff. Now, we know that since we've been out, there have been some new skills added. We will try our best to learn them as quick as possible. So y'all just bear with us on that, on the new skills. But the old skills, we got you covered with that. We got you covered. So I'm excited for this. For the next 17 weeks and probably after, we're going to be doing this, you guys, to help your students improve their math scores.
Yes, that is right. And I think everybody's question is, why 6th grade and 8th grade math? So I'm going to let you answer that question right there.
Yes, of course. Why are we only doing just 6th grade math and 8th grade math? Why don't y'all do the others like 5th, 6th, and high school level? Well, Mr. Andrew Frett over here, he's a future 6th grade math teacher, okay? I'm a future 8th grade math teacher. So that's why we chose what we want to do, because we're going to be teaching these stuffs, you guys, in the future. So we're kind of like preparing ourselves for this. So I hope that answers your question. Now, we can, I don't know, but we can, if you have a child who's in 5th grade or in 6th grade and they are struggling with math, we can try to help them. Yeah, we can try to help them with that, but this is mainly for 6th graders and 8th graders. So there you go right there. But again, if you have students who are struggling in 5th or 6th grade, just come to us. We will be glad to help.
Yes, let us know. Let us know. We'd be glad to help. So without all the introductions out of the way, um, let's just hop right in, shall we? I believe it's going to be my turn for the next 30 minutes, and then we're going to take a mid-session break, and then once we get back, it's going to be Mr. Damian Anderson's turn, and then right after that, another session break, and then office hours.
Yeah.
So I don't know how am I going to introduce myself. I think for this week, I will be known as Andrew, as just for this week, because we're just starting out. But for the
Yes.
next couple of weeks, I will switch it up to either Mr. Andrew or Mr. Frett. That is it. That's the only two names. That is it. Because we will snap into teacher mode immediately. We will snap into teacher mode. Actually, as a matter of fact, from here on out, it's going to be Mr. Andrew and Mr. Frett. Forget what I said earlier, 5 seconds ago. It's going to be Mr. Andrew and Mr. Frett, okay? Because we will snap into teacher mode.
Yes. Well, for me, for this week, you guys, you could call me Damian for just this first week. But then starting next week, you could either start calling me Mr. Damian or Mr. Anderson. I had to think what was my last name again. Oh my gosh. It- it's you guys. Today is a Monday. I'm not. Nobody's not really a Monday person, so I'm
No.
one of them. So
Mhm.
I apologize, but yeah, you guys can call me either Mr. Damian or Mr. Anderson starting next week. But for this week, just call me Damian, just to get started, just to get to know me a little better.
All right. Mr. Andrew, Mr. Frett, unless I switch it up. Unless. All right, so let's get started. So
Yeah.
my session will start. So I have a whole lot of stuff planned. My style of teaching is what I like to do is do vocab first, and then do I like to add some pictures or some diagrams in my notes, so that because I know some of y'all are visual learners, so I'm gonna try to add some diagrams into that as well. I have, for this lesson right here, I have 3 examples. Please note that I typed this out on Microsoft Word. So it may be the divide symbol and the multiplication and divide may be a little different. Also, I like to add videos as well, because again, for those visual learners as well. So for this section, I will share my screen for those that can watch that video as well. I'm not going to be like one of those teachers like you have to take a vocab quiz or you have to take a test. No. I don't like tests. I don't like quizzes. And I'm pretty sure every student in America does not like tests or quizzes. And I'm pretty sure Damian can agree on this.
Yeah.
So,
Hate them. And I'm a college student now. You still got tests and quizzes to take, so
yeah. So, even at work too, I still have to take tests and quizzes. But that besides the point. Let's go right into this first lesson. So, this unit is going to be language of algebra. Algebra, yes, we're going to learn about algebra for this week. And for next week, we are going to talk about, we will continue with language algebra, but please note that some of the lessons that I have planned may revert back to the very first lesson, to this lesson, or we might go backwards. Also, please note as well that my lessons might intertwine with Damian's lesson. I believe in one lesson, Damian talks about square roots and scientific notation. I won't talk about that until later down the road. So our lessons may intertwine with each other, but that is okay. It's all right. All right. So for the first vocab words, so there are three. The first one is numeric expressions. I can talk on today. Which contains a combination of numbers and operations such as addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. So, for instance, for example, it could be 4 plus x, or 5 minus z, etc., etc. Next vocab word, to evaluate an expression, units by its value. If it has more than one operation, use order of operations. I know for, like Damian talked about before we started this new skill, it is no longer PEMDAS. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. That is not it no more. It is now GEMDAS, which you have grouping, which will be parentheses, brackets, stuff like that. Exponents, multiply and divide, and add and subtract. So that is one thing that is new that is the new skill, or the new what's it called?
Like I know what you're trying to say. Like a new skill, new concept.
New concept. Yeah, we're gonna go with that new concept. So, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally is not there no more.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I didn't know that either. So, yeah. So Aunt Sally unfortunately passed away. Yeah. Oh well, she's still living, but she got married. Let's just say Sally got married. So again, you have grouping, exponents, multiply / divide, add / subtract. So I'm gonna break it down to you right here. So the first example, I think I should share my screen.
Oh, yeah, I was just about to ask when was you going to share your screen, so
I was like,
everyone can see.
Let's do that now so that everybody can see this.
Right.
All right, so let me, actually there is another way that I can, wait, can I? So right here, let me zoom this in for you guys here. All right, so the first expression is the total amount of money if you have of $25 and $26. So the phrase is the sum of 25 and 26. So what is the expression? It's 25 plus 26. You may be wondering where did you get that from? So 25, which is from $25, and $26, which is 26. And the sum of, when you think of sum of, you think of what? Addition. So that's how I get the plus sign, is 25 plus 26. Another example, the cost of 11 yo-yos, if each costs $5. So the phrase, the product of 11 and 5. So where you get 11 from? Where you get 5 from? 11 from 11 yo-yos, and 5 from $5. And each, when you think of each cost is what? Multiplication, right? So that's how I get 11 times 5, or each, and also the product of, because you want to find the product of 11 yo-yos if each yo-yo costs $5. All right. So evaluating / order of operations. So like I said again, Aunt Sally got married. So it's no longer, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. She got married. So she used to date Pat, but you know, she got married and divorced and etc. And now she's marrying Gary. Okay. So the first one is 56 minus 4 times 6 plus 25. So what is the first thing that we're going to do? We are going to, it's like reading a book from left to right. So the first one is 56 minus 4, which is 52. And then we're going to bring that times down, and then we're going to do 6 plus 25. And that's how I get 52 plus 31, which is going to equal to 1612. Another example, 29 minus 8 divided by 36 minus 33. Again, like you read in the book, 29 minus 8, which is 21, and 36 minus 33 is 3. And now you divide 21 divided by 3 is what? 7. So that's how you do order of operations, or grouped as you will. This very last one, maybe a little bit complicated. 41 divided by parentheses 8 plus 3 to the fourth power times 7. So what are we going to do first? Well, we are going to, like again, Jim Daz, we're going to do 3 times 4, because we got to figure out what is 3 times 4. We got to figure that out first. So 3 to the fourth power is 81. So we have now figured out what is 3 to the fourth power. So I brought everything down. 41 divided by parentheses 8 plus 81 times 7. Now, this is where Gary gets in. This is where Gary gets in. So now we're going to do 8 plus 81, which is, hold on, before stuff is happening. Where is it at? Hold on. Nope, that's the wrong one.
Let's do some examples.
Wrong one. First mistake of the evening. Oh, you can also annotate. Okay, so you can annotate on this? I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. This is our first night, and this is my first time doing screen sharing, and I didn't know you can annotate on here. So
pretty cool.
So we're gonna do 8 plus 81. Like I said, we're gonna do Gary, which is 89. Just on the line. Now that we have figured that out, we're gonna do 41 divided by 89, which is 69. Bring the multiplication down, which is times 7, and that's how you get 4.83. So that's one of those examples as well. Also, I'm gonna see if I can go back, because I love this new annotated thing. Where is it? How do I, is it draw? Is it this? So again, back to here, 11 yo-yos, which is here, and then for $5, $5, and here, and then the product of, let's do this card. That's how I got And that's how I got here, the multiplication. So I believe it is still, how many minutes do I have left?
20 minutes.
How many?
20.
20, ooh, 20 minutes. All right, so, which is a whole lot of time. I thought it was. Maybe we can do two lessons into one on today. Because again, I got like a whole lot of stuff planned. So trying to figure out how am I gonna do this. So there are 4 videos that that I would like for you to watch. I think they're, I don't know how long are they, but there are 4 videos to watch, hopefully within 20 minutes, hopefully. If not, Damian can alert me or something if it's been past 20 minutes. So so the first one is from Cat Economy. Everybody loves Cat Economy. Everybody loves Cat Economy with that voice. Everybody loves it. So with this one, he is going to talk about.
Let's do some examples of the writing expressions with variables exercise.
Okay, let me pause on that for a second. So for this one, he's going to tell you how to write basic expressions with variables. We will actually get into variables next week, where I will show you how to write a variable, like n minus 7, 7 minus n, stuff like that. So we will actually learn how to write a variable next week. But without further ado, I'm gonna mute my mic off and I'm gonna let you watch this video.
No volume, Andrew. You probably have to unmute yourself playing this video.
Let's see.
I was saying you probably had to unmute yourself playing this video.
Check our answer here. We got it right.
It's working now.
More of these.
Yeah.
Okay.
Write an expression to represent the sum of D and 9. So the sum of D and 9, that means you're going to add D and 9. So I could write that as D plus 9, or I could write that as 9 plus 9 plus D. Check our answer. Got that right. Let's do a few more of these. Write an expression to represent J minus 15. Well, I could just write it in with math symbols instead of you writing the word minus. Instead of writing M-I-N-U-S, I could write J minus 15. And then I check my answer and got it right. Let's do a few more of these. It's a lot of fun. Write an expression to represent 7 times R. Well, 7, there's a couple ways I could do it.
So I'm a
this little dot right over here. I could do 7 times R like that. That would be.
So the reason why I'm calling this video is because there are many different ways that you can write this as well. You can write it as, like he's doing it, 7 times R or R times 7, like he did in the previous practice thing. He did 7 minus 15, or you can do 15 minus 7. Either way, it still works, and either way, it's still either way, you can still write an expression. So either way.
Be correct. I could literally just write 7R. If I just wrote 7R, that would also count. Let me check.
So again, for this one as well, you can write it You can write it. You can write it like that as well, 7r, because that's the same thing as 7 times r. Or you can do like what I did, 7 times r, put in that dot or that asterisk as a multiplication sign, and then r. So there are, you can do it this way, or you can do it my way. It's really up to you how you want to write 7 times r, or whatever the expression or whatever the word problem is telling you.
That's my answer. That's right. We'll do a couple of other of these just so you can see that I could have just done 10, and this is not a decimal. This is, you know, it's a little bit higher than a decimal. It's multiplication, and the reason why once you start doing algebra, you use this symbol instead of that kind of cross for multiplication is that x-looking thing gets confused with x when you're using x as a variable. So that's why this is a lot more useful. So we want to write 10 times u. 10 times u. Let's check our answer. Got it right. Let's do one more. Write an expression to represent 8 divided by d. So I could write it as 8, and then I could write slash like that, 8 divided by d. And there you go. This is 8 divided by d. Let me check.
Okay, so for this one, he used the fraction symbol. Unfortunately for me, I don't have the fraction symbol on my keyboard. So what I have to use is I have to use the slash symbol that's on my keyboard as a to represent the divide symbol, because I don't have the divide the fraction symbol. So again, it's really it's either way, it still works. You can either use h/d or like this example. Either way, it still works.
Yeah, so I'll do one more of these. 6 divided by b. All right, same thing. So 6, I could use this tool right over here. It does the same thing as if I were to press the backslash. So 6 divided by b. Check my answer. Got it right.
So that is one way. That is by Cat Economy, not sponsored or anything. That's one. That's the video on Cat Economy of how to write expressions. Now here is another video by Khan Academy that I can speak on today of order of operations. Now, I think for this video, he is going to use...
In this video, we're going to talk a little bit about order of operations. And I want you to pay close...
Okay, I think for this video, if it pops up, I mean, like, it's popping up, but it's not showing.
You got it paused.
Oh, I got it paused.
Attention, because really everything else that you're going to do in mathematics is going to be based on you having a solid grounding in order of operations. So what do we even mean when we say order of operations? So let me give you an example. The whole point is so that we have one way to interpret a mathematical statement. So let's say I have the mathematical statement 7 plus 3 times 5. Now, if we didn't all agree on order of operations, there would be two ways of interpreting this statement. You could just read it left to right. So you could say, well, let me just take 7 plus 3. You could say 7 plus 3, and then multiply that times 5. And 7 plus 3 is 10. And then you multiply that by 5. 10 times 5, it would get you 50. So that's one way you would interpret it if we didn't agree on an order of operations. Maybe it's a natural way. You just go left to right. Another way you could interpret it, you say, oh, I like to do multiplication before I do addition. So you might interpret it as, I'll try to color code it, 7 plus, and you do the 3 times 5 first. 7 plus 3 times 5, which would be 7 plus 3 times 5 is 15. And 7 plus 15 is 22. So notice, we interpreted the statement in two different ways. This was just straight left to right, doing the addition, then the multiplication. This way, we did the multiplication first, then the addition. We got two different answers, and that's just not cool in mathematics. If this was part of some effort to send something to the moon because two people interpreted it a different way, or one computer interpreted one way and another computer interpreted another way, the satellite might go to Mars. So this is just completely unacceptable, and that's why we have to have an agreed upon order of operations, an agreed upon way to interpret this statement. So the agreed upon order of operations is to do parentheses first. Let me write it over here. Parentheses first, then do exponents.
So he using PEMDAS. Like I said earlier, Aunt Sally got married. She got remarried. She divorced Pat, and now she with Gary now. I'm gonna keep on saying Gary because that's what she with now. She with Gary now. So it is no longer Pat. She left Pat and went with Gary. So it's no longer parentheses. It's now grouping. That's where your parentheses, your brackets, all that come in. And then all that come in. Like I said, I prefer left to right. But again, you have to use PEMDAS first. So you would do multiplication first. So like he did in this video, he did 3 times 5 and then 7 plus 15. I can tell Damian is shaking his head right now because he disagrees with this right now. Because I'm pretty sure it's left to right. So you would do 7 plus 3 times 5, which is 10 times 5, which is 50, which is, for us, is the correct way, but we have to follow the order of operations. So, let's continue.
If you don't know what exponents are, don't worry about it right now. Exponents, and in this video, we're not going to have any exponents in our examples.
Well, I did for my lesson. We actually won't get into exponents until later down this week. So this is for my lesson. It's just an intro to exponents. I know it's not in my lesson plan, but it's an intro to exponents. And I'm not mistaken, Mr. Damian will talk about a little bit more about exponents and scientific notations and all that later down that road.
Don't really have to worry about it for this video. Then you do multiplication. I'll just write mult, short for multiplication. Then you do multiplication and division next. They kind of have the same level of priority. And then finally you do addition and subtraction. Finally you do addition and subtraction. So what is this order of operations? Let me label it. This right here, that is the agreed upon order of operations. And if we follow these order of operations, we should always get to the same answer for a given statement. So what does this tell us? What is the best way to interpret this up here? Well, we have no parentheses. Parentheses look like that.
Grouping.
Curly things around numbers. We don't have any parentheses here. I'll do some examples that do have parentheses. We don't have any exponents here, but we do have some multiplication and division, or we actually just have some multiplication. So the order of operations say, do the multiplication and division first. So it says, do the multiplication first. That's a multiplication. So it says, do this operation first. It gets priority over addition or subtraction. So if we do this first, we get the 3 times 5, which is 15. And then we add the 7. The addition or subtraction, I'll do it here. Addition, we just have addition, just like that. So we do the multiplication first, get 15, then add the 7, 22. So based upon the agreed order of operations, this right here is the correct answer, the correct way to interpret this statement. Let's do another example. I think it'll make things a little bit more clear. And I'll do the example in pink. So let's say I have 7 plus 3, 7 plus 3, put some parentheses there, times 4 divided by 2 minus 5 times 6. So there's all sorts of crazy things here, but if you just follow the order of operations, you'll simplify it in a very, I guess, clean way, and hopefully we'll all get the same answer. So let's just follow the order of operations. The first thing we have to do is look for parentheses. Are there parentheses here? Yes, there are. There's parentheses around the 7 plus 3. So it says, let's do that first. So 7 plus 3 is 10. So this we can simplify just looking at this order of operations to 10 times all of that. Let me copy and paste that so I don't have to keep rewriting it. So let me copy, let me paste it. So that simplifies to 10 times all of that. We did our parentheses first. Then what do? There are no more parentheses in this expression. Then we should do exponents. I don't see any exponents here. And just so if you're curious what exponents look like, an exponent would look like, 7 squared. You'd see these little small numbers up in the top right. We don't have any exponents here, so we don't have to worry about it. Then it says to do multiplication and division next. So where do we see multiplication? We have a multiplication, a division, a multiplication again. Now, when you have multiple operations at the same level, when our order of operations, multiplication and division are at the same level, then you do left to right. So in this situation, you're going to multiply by 4 and then divide by 2. You won't multiply by 4 divided by 2. But then we'll do the 5 times 6 before we do the subtraction right here. So let's figure out what this is. So we'll do this multiplication first. We'll do that multiplication first. We could simultaneously do this multiplication because it's not going to change things, but I'll do things one step at a time. So the next step we're going to do is this 10 times 4. 10 times 4 is 40. 10 times 4 is 40. Then you have 40 divided by 2. Let me copy and paste all of that again. Then it simplifies to that right there. Remember, multiplication, division, they're at the exact same level, so we're going to do it left to right. You could also express this as multiplying by 1/2, and then it wouldn't matter the order, but for simplicity, multiplication, division, go left to right. So then you have 40 divided by 2 minus 5 times 6. So division, you just have one division here. You want to do that. This is going to take, you have this division, then you have this multiplication. They're not together, so you can actually kind of do them simultaneously. And to make it clear that you do this before you do the subtraction, because multiplication, division take.
So what I like to do, he likes to divide it and then multiply. What I would do for this example, I would go ahead and do 10 times 4 and then 5 times 6. And just so that at the end, you would just divide by 2 and then minus whatever you have. Instead of rewriting the whole thing over and over again. So for this instance, it will be 40 divided by 2 minus 30. And then you would get 25, right? Yeah, 25. That's correct. Okay, 25. Almost lost my brain cells for just a second. So if you would continue this, it will be 25. No, it'll be 20 minus 30. Brain cells. Not. It's been a long day. It's Monday. Let me make sure I am correct. Divided by 2 is 20, and then minus 30. So it'll if he continues down this road, it'll be negative 10. And of course, you can't have a negative answer because again, we have not reached that level yet. So that's why I'd rather just go ahead and do multiplications on both sides and then divide it by 2. How many minutes do I have? I have 1 minute left. All right, so basically to wrap up everything, we talked about, if I can go back, we're gonna stop share here. So basically this is kind of like a wrap up here. So basically we talked about how to write an expression. We also talked about how to do order operations. We also talked about how it's not how Aunt Sally got married, actually divorced, and now got remarried to Gary. She's no longer with Pat because Pat had decided to step down. We also talked about how to do order operations from left to right, how there are 2 different ways to do order operations. And then, like I said again, we are going to get into exponents later down the road, not this week, but for next week, we are going to talk about variables. So, without further ado, this will be our mid-session break. Okay, so I just learned something new today. Which is share screen. Ooh. 30 minutes surely does go very fast.
Exactly.
Except I had like a minute. Except I had like a minute and 27 minutes. 20 a minute and 27 seconds left. So.
But you did good.
Yeah.
For your first lesson.
Yeah, little hiccups there. I didn't know you can annotate when you're doing screen share. I didn't know that. I think that was my first hiccup right there. I was like, oh, you can annotate on this while you do screen share? Okay. In a minute. So Damian is getting his stuff ready for his lesson, which is numbers and operations, repeating decimals, converting a fraction to a repeating decimal. Which I won't get into fractions and decimals until actually my last day before vacation. I won't get into that till the 7th week. All right. Are you ready?
Hold on. Let me pull this up. Going slow. Okay.
30 minutes. Let me know. Oh, that's going to be. Just let me know when you are ready. Let me know when you are ready to start.
Okay, I'm ready.
All right. All right. We are now heading over. Well, trying to think. We're gonna let Damian Anderson for his first virtual lesson. I'm gonna hand the reins over to Damian Anderson.
All right. So here we go. Now, you guys, if you see me throughout this, like my eyes are just like they're barely open, I apologize. I'm trying to be awake here. I am excited for this, but y'all quite can't tell because I'm just so tired, but I apologize. All right, so I tried to do my best here. Now, for the first week, we are going to be discussing repeating decimals. Yes, that's probably not your favorite, and that wasn't mine when I was back in middle school. But we will get through this together. I got plans for how we're supposed to do this. So for today's lesson, it's repeating decimals. We're going to convert a fraction to a repeating decimal. Okay, so let me show you guys how we're going to do that. So let me share my screen. Okay, now let me scoot this down here. Okay, so repeating decimals, converting a fraction to a repeating decimals. Now here are your notes. So you might want to grab, if you haven't already, a piece of paper, pen, whatever, to jot these down because these are very important. And you guys will be your teachers will be talking about this, trust me. So here's your first notes here. So what we're going to do, how are we going to convert a fraction to a repeating decimal? Well, first you have is to convert a fraction to a decimal. We are going to divide the numerator by the denominator. So let's say, for example, a fraction, 1/2. The 1 at the top, that is your numerator, okay? And then your 2, that's your denominator, okay? Because people, they would get confused by that, like the 1 that is the, or whatever numbers at the top, your denominator, what's ever at the bottom, the numerator. No, what's at the top, numerator, the bottom, denominator, okay? So that's what we're going to do here. Second, how to convert a fraction to a decimal. Well, we're going to write an equivalent fraction, if possible, with a denominator of 10, 100, or 1,000. And this is going to be like this every time, okay? It's not going to be any other numbers. It's going to be either 10, 100, or 1,000. Now, this is what you guys need to remember. I should have highlighted this here. But remember that if I could speak today, remember that the numerator is the dividend and the denominator is the divider. Now, I will show you guys what do I mean by this. So this is important. So make sure you jot this down and highlight it. Okay. Take some time for y'all to jot this down here. And then on Friday, we're going to do the exact same opposite. We're going to do the exact same thing, but on Friday, we're going to convert a repeating decimal back to the fraction. Okay. So everyone should have this down. I'm going to move on, scroll down. Now, I don't got example problems just yet. Okay. So here's what you need to know. These are some notes here. A terminating decimal is a decimal with an infinite number of digits after the decimal points. And I'm going to show you guys, I got example problems. Then of course, a repeating decimal, you guys should notice it either be like 0.9696, so on, so on, so on. It's repeating. So it's a decimal in which one digit or a group of digits is repeated without end. Just like I said, 0.696969, so on, so on, so on. That's a repeating decimal. Then you have a non-terminating decimal, which is quite the same as a terminating decimal, but it's infinite number of digits after the decimal points. So y'all can jot this all down. And then I'm going to show y'all some example problems. But make sure you have this. I need a marker here. Let me make sure you copy this. Because that is very important. And these are your terms.
So the terminating decimals, repeating decimals, and non-terminating decimals is basically the vocab of your lesson.
Exactly. All right. Let's move on to some example problems. So now y'all see I got this down again because this is very important, okay? Okay. Now, here's problem number one. We're going to convert each fraction to a decimal. Then determine if its decimal expansion is repeating or terminal, okay? So I hope y'all copy this down here because that's what we're going to determine. So here's problem one, 3/4, okay? Now, how are we going to do this? How can we turn this into a decimal? Well, there are many ways, you guys, you can do this. And here you go right here, 3/4. So what gets you to 25? Where do we come up with this? Well, you got to know your multiplication facts, of course. Okay, to determine how we're going to do this. Now, it's not always going to be 25, but for this problem it is. The next problem, it won't be 25, okay? To get you 75, when we do 3 times 25, it's 75. And then y'all see this 100 here? I told y'all back here, we're going to use one of these numbers. So you get you 100. And then when we convert this into a decimal, it's 0, I forgot to put my 0 here, 0.75. So this is your answer here. But what is this? Is this a repeating decimal or is it a terminating? Well, if we look back here, I believe it will be terminating, correct? Because it will not be repeating. It's this repeating, 0.75. No, it's not 0.75, 75, and so on. So it will be a terminating. And I forgot to write this down.
I do want to add something to this problem right here.
Go ahead.
Think of it as quarters.
Exactly.
75 cents is three quarters of a dollar is what? 75 cents. So that's how he got 75 cents. So as you know, a quarter is what? 25 cents. 50 is what? 2 25s. If you get 3/4, it's 75 cents. And then if you get all 4 of 25 cents, which is in
I can't do anything on here, but if you get 4 quarters, you get what? $1. So that's how he got 75 cents. So just think of it as money wise, basically.
Exactly, guys. Exactly. If that's easier for you, then do it. If it's not, find another way that's easier for you because this does not work with everyone. It doesn't. Okay. Now, since we got number 1 down, let's look at number 2. Okay. Now we got 3/11. So what I did here is we divide here. Now, you guys, I know some of you guys are not very good at this. I'm with you as well. I wasn't good at this either back in school. Now, y'all, let me throw this up here. Okay. Now, here's how you set it up. Don't focus on this side over here. Let's worry about this, of how to get to all of this. Now, to be honest, you guys, I'm going to be totally honest with you. I really don't know how to really explain this to you because I wasn't that good with division. But this is what you're going to do here. You have to know your multiplication. You have to know your addition. You have to know it all. So what 3 times 11 gets me? 0. I put a 0 down here. That beat 3. It does not equal 0. Some people think that it's 0. 3 minus 0 is 3. Okay? What about what gets me 11 to 3 to 11? 0. I add a 0, I bring it down. You have 30. Then I have 22. And then I have 80. Then I have 77, so on and so on and so on. And this does repeats. As y'all can see, it keeps repeating. Okay, that's not going to work with me here. Let me take that off.
Hint, he said repeating. So that should give you automatically the answer to that problem because it keeps repeating. So that's basically your answer right there.
Yes. And as y'all can see over here, 3 divided by 11 equals 0.272727, and so on. So this is your answer. And it's like he said, it's repeating because it repeats, it repeats, it repeats. So this is all I have here. Just this, I know it's a short lesson, but I hope y'all learned something from this of convert it now. You guys can always, I know we got calculators now, technology, and y'all can like easily plug in these numbers into your calculators. Well, sometimes it's not going to always be like that. There will not be calculators provided to you guys all the time. So you got to know how to do these steps. And that's why y'all teachers are teaching y'all this, because calculators are not going to be provided to you guys on tests, especially, well, sometimes for state tests. It's not going to always be provided to you. So you guys have to know which procedures, which methods you have to use. So
yes,
that's all.
That is absolutely that is absolutely correct. And you wondering why math teachers are always getting on y'all for showing your work. So this is the prime example of showing your work. Because if you don't show your work, you didn't really, you answered the problem, but you didn't show any work. Like how did you get, so let's just say you got 0.75. Like,
Yeah,
how did you get 0.75? Like, where
yeah.
did you get 0.75? Or how did you get 0.27272727? How you get it? You know, I need to know what steps that you have taken in order to get that answer.
Exactly. And my students, you will have to show your work for everything. This will not always be provided. It won't. So you got to show me proof, evidence of how, like you said, 3/4 equals 0.75. Okay, I know that, but how did you get that answer? I need proof. Because if you just plug it into this calculator here, that's not proof to me. I need steps like I show you here. I show my work. I show everything. And that's what I want for my students to do. So you have to show your work on tests and on state tests. So that's all I have for here. Show your work because it will help. And you will know the steps and the methods of how to work out each problem. So that's today's lesson. Repeating decimals. I know it's not a fun lesson. Sorry, but we will get into the fun lessons later on. I know this is like kind of boring. Well, it's what you need to know. How to convert fractions to repeating decimals. So, yeah.
And like I said, for my students, for my lesson, I won't get into fractions / decimals until later on in the week. That's when I'm going to show you how to write fraction and decimals, and I'll probably have to reuse that same lesson of how to do those things. So it's very important that you know how to do this. So that way, once you get to my lesson, you would know how to write a repeating decimal or a repeating fraction and decimal. So it's really important that you know this.
Exactly. Absolutely. Yes. So I hope you guys was paying attention and taking notes because you will need this. Your teachers, if they haven't already discussed this, they will. They will, and you will be the first to know how to do it, and then you can help others. Well, y'all can't group up anymore, so. But well, I don't know, but you can help a friend out who is struggling with this. So I hope you took notes on both of our lessons, not just mine or just Andrew's, both of our lessons.
Absolutely. We may have a different. Sliding is bad. We may have different teaching styles, but still, like I said, we still hope that you have taken notes from both of our lessons.
Exactly.
We still have a lot of time left. We still have about 10 minutes left.
Yeah. I know. I wasn't planning on letting this be a long lesson. It was just going to be something short, something simple, but what they need to know. So later on into the weeks, there will be some long lessons. So this was probably this week, you guys. It's just short lessons, but starting when we start getting into equations and graphing, you guys know those won't be short notes lessons. No, you guys, I'm gonna tell you guys up front. I love equations. I get like put in numbers anywhere and solve it. So I'm excited when I start teaching equations. So y'all get ready for that.
Mhm. For my people, yes. Graphing, graphing's gonna be a long one. Because I'm gonna talk about how to graph order pairs and relations. We're gonna talk about that. Integers and absolute value.
Oh yes.
Graphing in 4 quadrants. I'm gonna tell you which quadrant it is. First, second, third, fourth quadrant. So some of these may be a long lesson. One of my favorites, which we won't get into until later down, I think later down, a couple of down the road, is proportions. I love proportions. I love cross multiplication. Let me tell you, cross multiplication is a fun thing to do. But unfortunately, we won't get to that until later down the road. I'm so upset because I got so many things planned for that. So, also we're going to talk about the real number system and negative exponents. We're going to talk about negative exponents. Yes, exponents can be negative. It can be always positive, but it can be negative. So we're going to talk about the real number system. We're going to talk about irrational and rational numbers. Scientific notation, which he's going to be already talking about, but I'm going to just add my ass to it as well. And then that's about it. That is about it.
Yeah. And for me, you guys, it's quite almost, he got some lessons that I'm going to be doing as well. As he says, rational and irrational numbers, going to be doing that. Square roots. And then I'm also going to be doing cube roots as well. There's so many, you guys. Scientific notation. Scientific notation, word problems, how to identify those, how to pick out the numbers from those and plug it in together. So that's gonna be kind of challenging for some, but I got you covered. We got equations with variables on both sides. Yes. Equations with parentheses. There's so many, you guys. Solutions to equations. Yes, solutions to equations. And then here's the biggie for everyone. Picking out equations from a word problem. I know I quite struggle with that, but I'm good at finding how to get them out. And I got some expressions for you guys of how you can pick those out. So I got lots. What else we're going to be doing? Graphing proportional relationships. I got lots of those. Linear equations. That's another thing. Yeah. So these next 17 weeks is going to be good.
It's going to be good. Sit back and relax. Because we got you covered. We got you covered. Of course, during this difficult time right now, during this pandemic. So yeah. At this time, it is currently 8:09 p.m.
Yeah, we
Eastern time.
Yeah, we quite went a little overboard, I think. But that's fine.
Perfect. That is fine. That is fine. So at this time, like, we still have plenty of time left because we are supposed to end at 8:30. At this time, we are going to have a mid-session break, and then once we regroup, we are now going to turn into office hours. During office hours, this is where you're going to have any questions. You can leave those questions or comments or concerns under the comment section if you're watching this on YouTube, or you can DM us, message us as well on our personal pages or on Future Educators Talk, and we will answer those questions either our next section as well next week. Actually, not next week. I'm sorry, Friday.
Yes, absolutely. Yes, we will. Before we start our lessons, we will answer you guys' questions wherever you have from our past lessons that we have talked about, and we will do that the first thing before we dive into a lesson that we're going to do. So yes, send them in. There are many ways that you can send in your questions. If you're watching this on YouTube, in the comments below, you can DM us on Instagram at Future Educators Talk, on Twitter at Future Ed Talk. Send it in a voice message by going to anchor.fm/Future Ed Talk. And there is a voice message to where you can record your questions to us. And also email us at futureeducatorstalk@gmail.com. So those are the many ways that you can reach us, contact us, or if you want to personally, on our personal accounts, you can as well. So there are many ways. Many ways. No excuses. No excuses.
No excuses. So for next week, not next week.
It's fine.
For Friday.
It's fine.
For Friday. See, my mind's already on next week. So for Friday, my people's, for my people, we are going to talk about, we're going to continue with the expressions on Friday. We're going to continue how to write expressions, but we're going to also add variables. I'm going to teach you how to write variable with expressions. That's what I'm going to be teaching you on Friday.
Yes, as well. And then, like I said in my lesson, that on Friday, we're going to be doing the opposite, repeating decimals back to their fraction. So that is what we're going to do on Friday. So be prepared for that.
Make sure you have a notebook and a pencil in handy. So at this time, I believe we have 15 minutes left in our session here. And I'm trying to think if we should do like a mid-session break / office hours.
What? Yeah, we can.
Okay. So at this time, we're going to take a mid-session break / our office hours is now open. That will be open until 8:30. And then after that, we will see y'all again on Friday with another lesson with yours truly, Mr. Andrew Frett, or Mr. Frett, or Mr. Andrew, and with Damian. So yeah.
Well, I really don't have a favorite, but just wherever I see.
So how did you download Smart Notebook?
Okay. Well, if I can remember how I did it, let me go to it real quick. Try to share my screen.
Bye.
Okay. Let me share my screen. Hold on. Okay. So I went to Google and typed smartboard notebook, and then I click on this first one here. And okay. Then I believe I got the basic one for 10. But anyway, I click on either one of those, and there's on here to where you can download it. Probably go to the top. Okay, right here where it says download. And then you will have to do all this this form here, and then you click download, and then it will download, and then it will take you to eventually to here to the smart board with all those downloads. So you should do that and it will get you to this right here. But I believe you have to create an account first. I believe that's what I did in order to do this.
Yeah, I tried that, but every time I download, like I can't use my mouse at all. So I don't know. I really don't know what's going on. I'm gonna have to use the discontinued one, just be on the safe side. So that is one easier. I'll just do 10. I know discontinue, but can I still? So, all right. So I will know next time for that.
Couple more minutes.
Yep, just about 8 minutes to go. Yeah, it's about 8 minutes ago. 8 minutes ago. 8 minutes to go. Well, now 7. Let's see how it's gonna work.
Oh, have you figured out that TikTok video that you was going to do?
I have not. And I was going to post it. But we had that meeting with Coach. So yeah, I never got the chance to like, I knew I was going to say, but I never had the chance to like record it. So
Right,
hopefully after this, or maybe sometime tomorrow, as soon as I get off of work, is to record that.
Okay.
Day one is complete. Well, it's almost complete. Da, 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 da.
5 minutes to go. And we have successfully did our first math virtual learning session.
Yes, absolutely. Without without going over the time. So that's very a first. Because normally during the first ones we'd be going over. But this is the very first time that we actually have some time left. So I'm actually proud.
Yeah.
Let's see. Just under 4 minutes to go for our first math virtual lesson. Again, this will be posted on our YouTube channel at Future Education and on our Instagram page at Future Education Talk. If you missed those lessons, don't you worry, it'll be uploaded on there. And again, we'll be back Friday with another brand new session. So make sure you click on that Zoom link that we have shared on our social medias, and not just for also students, but for also teachers that also want to help us out as well.
Yes.
Come join us as well. If there's something, if you want to help too, come join us. If you want to, correct us, because I know it's been a while since we've been out of school. Join in. Tell us that is something new. I think the gym dads was new. It's not. Yeah. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally.
Yeah, that was new to me.
Got divorced and got remarried. So
I didn't even know that. That's so. See, I learned something new today, you guys.
Yeah. Just under 3 years. But it's a virtual math lesson. Actually, 2 minutes to go. 2 minutes. 2 minutos. Meanwhile, it is raining over here where I'm at right now. I don't know if you can hear the rain. Right.
1 minute to go.
1 minute to go.
Whoa. And now.
All right. So at this time, our office hours is now closed. We have now reached the end of this math virtual lesson. If you missed the very first math virtual lesson, like I said again, it will be replayed on our YouTube channel and on our Instagram page. So make sure you go check it out.
Yes.
Brand new episodes. Brand new live sessions will be every Monday and Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central. So that is it. That is the end of our very first day of our math virtual lesson.
We did it. We did it.
We did it.
So, yes, like he said, if you guys miss our live virtual sessions, they will be up on our YouTube channel, and I will try to put them on our Instagram accounts the very next day. So, on Mondays, it will be up on Tuesdays, and then on Fridays, it will be up on Saturdays. So, you might want to jot that down. So, um, that's all for me. I don't have nothing. Just um, I just want to first, before we end this, appreciate our listeners foremost for continuing on listening to our podcast. Um, it's I mean it's incredible. It's we are in our fourth season now, you guys, and even though this is the last day of August, uh, we're still celebrating our 1 year anniversary. We can't still believe this. 1 year later, it's mind blowing. It's mind blowing, and look at all the success that we have did from all the guests that have come on and telling us, keep doing great. You guys are doing a great job. And that really encouraged us. That's why we are still here today, because of the guests that we have on. They keep pushing us. And I'm so glad we created this platform for middle and high school students for they to be interested into the education field, and to also educators to start talking about these topics that we are talking about that they do not want to have in their classroom and talk with their colleagues about. And we're doing it. We're the first. We're starting these conversations on our podcast. And I'm I'm just glad. I'm glad we're doing this. So I'm so glad to be a part of this family, this FET family. It's so great. Um, I'm glad that we have another co-host with us joining our family. I believe now it's complete. Yeah, I believe now it is finally complete for us. So that's all I have to say. Just I hope we can continue on with Future Educators Talk so many years later. And then obviously when we become teachers, we can continue on doing this in some kind of a way. And then like Andrew mentioned on the season 4 premiere, turn this podcast into a talk show. So I would love to see that happen, which it will happen. So I, that's all I have to say about this. I just had to let it out because some of you guys know, some of my classmates know that I'm shy. I don't like to talk too much. If I meet a new person, it will get me time to really get to know you and be, really get to know you and familiar with you. So this is like my platform to where I could just let it all out. And now, you guys, I am speaking more because of this platform that we have here. In the first season, I wasn't that talkative, but starting season 2 until now, bam, and I'm I'm just grateful for this platform. I don't want to talk much because probably you have some thoughts that you want to share, but I'm glad that you first off, and you mentioned it in the season 4 premiere that you brought this up to me. I'm so glad that you did, because if you did not, I will still be not talking at all, and I don't know where I will be now. So I just want to thank you again, Andrew, for allowing me to do this with you, that you chose me. So thank you. That's all I have to say. What about you? What are your thoughts? I just keep on talking, rambling.
First and foremost, you're welcome. There is no other person that is passionate about education that doesn't have the same goal as me, especially the same subject, math
Yes.
subject. has to speak as me. So I'm glad that we are in the same boat together. Like like you said, it's been a year. Um, I still don't believe it. It's been a year since we started this FET platform and the success behind this. Um, from interviewing guests, from being on shows, other podcasts like Mr. Kwame's podcast, Teacher on Fire Instagram Live session, um, being the guest moderator for our Twitter chat. I mean, those success has really pushed us to continue Future Educators Talk. And we are looking forward to continue Future Educators Talk later down in the road. And once we become teachers, like you said, we will probably reflect on this broadcast, and we will probably continue this broadcast, kind of like rename it a little bit, but it will still be the same format.
Exactly.
So
Yeah,
oh man
yeah.
we have our work is not done.
No,
It's not.
no.
We have so many things that we have plans for Future Educators Talk, and like we said again and again, we're only just getting started.
Yes, absolutely. Yes.
So,
This is a kind of like a new chapter for us right here. This is just the beginning, you guys. Season 1 was just not our beginning, which was our worst season, but we kind of talk about that on the season 4 premiere. So yeah, this is just the beginning, you guys. And like he said, we just don't have just this podcast right here. We are working on so many projects. Like for me, for instance, I have another podcast for the ones who do not know. Damian Talks Education. I talk about topics on here. I bring some topics onto mine and I go in depth as well. I also talk about other things. And here's a surprise here. Well, kind of a announcement here. Starting next, and lately I have been talking about race on my podcast. So starting next season 2 of Damian Talks Education, I'm shifting gears of talking about race on my podcast because that is what we all need to talk about now. Having these difficult, uncomfortable conversations. It's time. It is time, you guys. So that's an announcement right there. I'm going to be talking about race on my podcast, so y'all get ready. So I got some plans for season 2. I got some plans, and you guys are not ready. Trust me.
Yes. And for me, as some of you may not know, I've been in the dark lately, but I did work on Frett's Education Thoughts. That has been in the works for the past couple of months, and now just wrapped up season 1. Yes, season 1 is out now. Season 1 finale of Education Thoughts is now out now, and now that's when I am really focusing on season 2, which will be my last season. Now, don't fret, hint, hint, my last name joke. The reason why I'm editing Frett's Education Thoughts is because I will be turning my full-on attention to not Frett's Education Thoughts. Wait a minute now. To Future Educators Talk. Because Future Educators Talk is I don't know how to put this. It's kind of like my child.
Yeah. It's your baby. Yeah.
Actually, yeah. We created this, so I want to spend my heart and even though I have, but I want to spend more time on Future Educators Talk. So another big announcement: season 2 will premiere in October. It will be I have a whole lot of catching up to do because there has been some topics that we have
Yeah.
already talked on here that
Yeah.
you need to hear my opinion about. So
Yeah.
I need to do a whole lot of catching up on. But it will premiere in October. So
Yes.
big
Oh,
announcement.
yeah. And then another thing, you guys, there are only 6 episodes left of season 1 of Damian Talks Education. 6 episodes left
That,
of me talking about education. Then
that.
after that, season 2 of Damian Talks Education will premiere in November. And the first part, there are 2 parts. The first part is education, where I have on guests. Then part 2 is me talking about race. And that's gonna be my main focus from here on out. So after in November, part 1, I'm moving focus to talking about race. So y'all get ready because I don't think they're ready. I don't know. I don't think they're ready for this from me. I don't think so.
Nope. 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 I don't think they're ready. Nope. So I believe that is it. All the announcements that we have today. Like I said, we'll be
Yes.
back again on Friday doing the same old, same time, same grind, but with a different lesson. Ooh, that's a new motto right there.
Oh yes.
That's a new motto right there. Same time, same grind, but a different lesson. Ooh, y'all better write that down.
Yes.
So, until then, I am your host, Andrew Frett.
And I am Damian Anderson.
And we will see y'all with another lesson on Friday.
Yes. So make sure you tune in with us live. Y'all take care.